Welcome to your daily dose of enlightenment. You've landed on Knowledge Planet where curiosity thrives and the enigmatic is revealed daily. We delve into a variety of topics, shedding light on the hidden and sharing insights to amaze you. From unraveling the mysteries of the universe to decoding the intricate workings of the human mind, we've got it all. Today, we're diving into a subject that's as intriguing as it is alarming, the effects of heroin on the human body. But before we venture into the depths, let's get acquainted. We are more than just a channel, we're a growing community, a family of knowledge seekers on a mission to reach global corners. We invite you to join our exploratory journey. Your presence matters to us. So hit that subscribe button, become part of our community, share your thoughts, interact with us. Every like, every dislike, every comment counts. Don't forget to stay updated by ringing our notification bell. Stay tuned, stay curious, and together let's continue to explore the vast expanse of Knowledge Planet. What happens to our body from a scientific standpoint when heroin is consumed? Welcome to a new episode of our series on the effects of drugs. We believe it's important to understand what happens scientifically, because, in our opinion, it can help keep them away. Let's start by saying that its true name, the scientific name, is diacetylmorphine heroin. In fact, heroin is just the commercial name. What do I mean by commercial? Well, it was sold. Yes, it may seem absurd, but heroin, which is now sadly famous for its devastating effects, could be bought at pharmacies until the 1920s as a common analgesic. Its name comes from German, heroes. I believe it's pronounced like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. It means heroic, practically a good advertising gimmick for those times, and it probably contributed to its spread. It was withdrawn from the market and prohibited only a few years later when it was realized that, in addition to relieving coughs and headaches, it had effects that were anything but positive. Heroin is a semi-synthetic substance obtained from morphine, which in turn is obtained from opium. You see this white, milky substance found in the pods of certain poppy species. Heroin, as we know, comes in various forms, mostly in powder. The most common are white heroin and base heroin, the so-called brown sugar. It can be taken in various ways, but let's get to the crux of our video. Once taken, what happens to our body from a biochemical point of view? Ladies and gentlemen, word to Aldina, our chemist. When heroin is used, the effect is practically immediate. After a few seconds, the body will be pervaded by a very strong sense of pleasure. Once in the blood, it easily reaches the brain, and it's precisely here, losing its acetyl groups, the ones you see, that it transforms into morphine and its derivatives, which have powerful, pain-relieving effects. You should know that our body naturally produces endogenous painkillers, the so-called endogenous opioids. When we experience pain, these connect to opioid receptors, interrupting the pain impulse and acting as painkillers. Among the main ones, for example, are endorphins produced by our body to give us a break when the pain is too high or excessive, for example, after a bruise or during a great physical effort. These exogenous opioids, which are those we don't produce, such as heroin, act exactly in the same way. They connect to the same opioid receptors in our body, giving us the same pain-relieving effects. However, the problem is that they not only act on pain receptors, but also on those that regulate dopamine production, the neurotransmitter of pleasure, channeling, and reward. After the first few seconds of intense pleasure, in fact, the heroin user will spend several minutes in a state of euphoria, only to find himself in a state of tranquility and relaxation for several hours, a state of peace due to the anxiolytic properties of the substance. It must be said, however, that all these sensations of pleasure, relaxation, and general well-being come with a very high price tag. Heroin, in fact, causes a very strong addiction, pushing the user to want more and more, to consume increasingly higher doses, with the aim of experiencing the same sensations of pleasure as the first times. However, this is impossible because our brain gets used to it very quickly, starting to have more and more difficulty in producing dopamine, and it easily reaches the point where only heroin will be able to produce pleasure in our body, nothing else. As the euphoria fades and the craving for more heroin sets in, the user's body begins to react in a multitude of ways. Immediate physical effects of heroin use can include meiosis, a severe constriction of the pupils that can shrink them to less than 2 mm in diameter. This is often accompanied by a dry mouth, a sensation of warmth, and intense itching. Nausea and drowsiness also frequently follow, marking the body's initial response to the potent drug, but the immediate effects are just the beginning. Long-term heroin use wreaks havoc on the body. Insomnia becomes a constant companion, disrupting the user's sleep patterns and affecting their overall health. Veins and blood vessels collapse under the strain of repeated injections, leading to painful abscesses that form on the skin. The liver, heart, and kidneys bear the brunt of the damage, with diseases in these vital organs being a common occurrence among long-term heroin users. The physical toll of heroin is relentless, leaving its mark on the user's body in ways that are both visible and invisible. The price tag for the fleeting moments of pleasure is devastatingly high, a fact that becomes all too clear as the user descends further into the grips of addiction. As the physical effects of heroin take their toll, there are hidden dangers that lurk beneath the surface. One of the most lethal is the risk associated with intravenous drug use. Heroin users who inject the drug directly into their veins are significantly more likely to contract HIV due to the sharing of infected needles. This risk is further compounded by the fact that the immune system of a heroin user is often weakened, making them more susceptible to infections and diseases. Heroin doesn't just ravage the body, it also wreaks havoc on the user's mental health. Serious psychological disorders often accompany long-term use. Anxiety becomes a constant shadow following the user throughout their daily life. Dysphoria, a profound state of unease or dissatisfaction, often sets in, further deepening the user's emotional turmoil. Depression is also a common companion as the user is trapped in a constant cycle of craving, use, and withdrawal. Furthermore, it's essential to remember that heroin is considered one of the most dangerous drugs in the world due to the ease with which it can cause fatal overdoses. The line between the desired high and a lethal dose is incredibly thin, making every use a potentially life-threatening gamble. Heroin's physical and psychological impacts are devastating, and each use only serves to deepen the user's dependence on the drug. The true cost of heroin use is far greater than just the physical toll it takes on the body. It also exacts a heavy price on the user's mental health and overall quality of life. As we delve deeper into the harrowing world of heroin use, it's crucial to understand the razor-thin margin that exists between a typical dose and a lethal overdose. On average, a fatal dose of heroin is about 100 milligrams. When you consider that a regular dose ranges from 20 to 30 milligrams, you begin to grasp the incredibly delicate balance that heroin users tread with each use. To put this into perspective, imagine a small pile of salt that could fit on the tip of your finger. That's roughly the amount of heroin that could potentially end a life. The alarming reality is that overdosing is frighteningly easy, especially when you consider the impaired judgment and physical condition of those struggling with addiction. This precarious balance becomes even more hazardous when you factor in the purity of the drug, which can vary greatly. Users often have no real way of knowing the potency of the heroin they're using, making the risk of overdosing even higher. The line between the desired high and a lethal dose is incredibly thin, making every use a potentially life-threatening gamble. The dangerous dance with death is a grim reality for heroin users. Each use isn't just an escape from reality or a momentary pleasure. It's a game of Russian roulette, with the stakes as high as they can get. The true cost of heroin isn't just the physical and psychological toll it exacts, but also the constant looming specter of death that hangs over every use. As we continue our exploration into the grim world of heroin use, it's crucial to understand exactly why an overdose is so deadly. Heroin, when consumed, leads to severe respiratory depression. This means that the drug dramatically reduces the body's urge to breathe. As a result, the tissues in the body start to suffer from hypoxia, or a deficiency of oxygen. This can rapidly progress into a complete respiratory blockage, leading to a fatal outcome: death by asphyxia. The lack of oxygen can also cause significant damage to vital organs like the brain and heart, further escalating the risk of death. Yet the danger doesn't stop at the physical impact. The intense addiction caused by heroin can drive users to extreme lengths in pursuit of their next dose. The strong craving can transform even the most law-abiding individuals into potential criminals. The desperate need for the drug can push them to commit crimes, further complicating their lives and adding to the cycle of destruction that heroin inevitably brings. In essence, a heroin overdose isn't just a medical emergency. It's a social, psychological, and personal crisis that can shatter lives and tear families apart. It's a stark reminder of the incredibly high price that comes with every dose, a price paid not just in money, but in health, freedom, and too often, in lives. As we've seen, heroin is a truly dangerous and deceptive substance. It is a nightmare for our body, causing not only physical harm, but also psychological and social devastation. But it's important to remember that there is hope in prevention and recovery. Many people have successfully turned their lives around, escaping the vicious cycle of addiction. Prevention begins with education, understanding the risks, and making informed decisions. Recovery is a challenging journey that requires determination, support, and professional help. It involves methods like detoxification, therapy, medication, and long-term follow-ups. There are countless stories of individuals who have overcome their addiction and rebuilt their lives. These stories serve as powerful reminders that it is never too late to seek help. The fight against heroin is not just about understanding its dangers, but also about promoting the power of prevention and recovery. This is the final message we want to leave you with. Heroin is not a game, it's a deadly gamble. But remember, there's always hope, and help is available. Thank you very much for watching this video until the end. We'll see you in the next episode on the effects of drugs, always here on Knowledge Planet. In this whirlwind of a world, staying connected has never been more important. Here at Knowledge Planet, you found a place of engaging content, community, and shared experiences. Think about it. When you subscribe, you're not just joining a channel, you're joining a family. A family that grows with every click, every share, every comment. So don't be a stranger. Dive into the conversation, add your voice to the mix. Agree, disagree, all perspectives are welcome here. And remember, sharing is caring. Pass along our videos to friends who could use a moment of insight or just a break from the everyday. Oh, and one more thing, that little bell icon, it's your ticket to never missing a beat. Click it and you'll be the first to know when fresh content hits the airwaves. So subscribe, comment, share, like or dislike, and ring that bell. Here's to growing our family one video at a time. Thank you once again for joining us on this journey, and remember, we're always here for you. Goodbye until next time.